Kenny Harper here, and I want you to imagine for a moment going to a football game where they're not keeping track of any metrics. They're not keeping the score, no one's measuring the yards, none of that's happening. Can you imagine how ridiculous that would be? People are just on there, kind of like running along, getting tackled, and after a while, they're like, well, who's winning? We don't know. We don't know. We're not paying attention to those things. It'd be kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it? Well, that happens far too often in the business world. Entrepreneurs and small business owners, they get so caught up in the day-to-day whirlwind that they're not paying attention to the score. And I realized there can be so many different things you could track that it could be overwhelming. But you can create a scoreboard that tracks the most important things. And what you focus on grows. What you measure, you can improve. So building this discipline is something that can help you amplify your business. And in this video, I'm going to share how to craft an effective scoreboard to track business progress. So if you have a scoreboard, great. If you don't, you can also create one starting today. I'm going to share the steps that you can put into play to start doing this today, start changing what's possible for you and your business. Now, the thing I want to share is you can start small. You don't have to do everything all at once, but building the disciplines, the habit, being focused on the score is going to make a big impact. And something else to consider, whether you call it a scoreboard or a scorecard or a dashboard, there's some slight nuances that are different between these tools, but they all are focused on tracking progress. So don't get caught up in the name. And there's a lot of different softwares out there that can track and get really comprehensive with all these dashboards and all this metrics. But sometimes that's too much. And if you focus just on the right areas and really work on knowing where you're at and then setting a goal to improve and then taking a new action to improve, you can really start moving the needle and seeing real progress. So this is a scoreboard example. I'm going to walk you through it so you can kind of get an idea of what it is. And again, this is an example. So it's not like yours needs to look exactly like this. And this is just a quick example. Where in the first column, you're looking at the metrics that you'd be measuring. Now, in a small business, you may have one scoreboard. You're measuring the key performance indicators, the key metrics, holistically to monitor the health of your business. Larger companies may have several different dashboards or scoreboards that really track with more granular level the metrics in each of those departments. So for getting started, just know that you'd want to define, all right, what do I really need to know about my finances? Maybe I need to pay attention to the income, the money that's going out, the money that we have on file, our cash flow, our sales. We want to see what are the sales that are coming in, the dollars, the amount, right? So these are things that we'd want to know to see, are we making progress? And when I'm working with a business, we will create a scoreboard focused on achieving their goals for a quarter, like their quarterly goals. So we're going to measure the metrics to make sure that we're making progress on those individual goals. So different tools for different jobs, right? So first column, we're just looking at metrics. Again, if you're just getting started, you could pick 1 to 3 metrics and just start tracking those, building the habit. Number 2 is defining who on your team is accountable for tracking the metric. You want to make sure that someone takes ownership of tracking that metric, so that it's being done consistently. If you're doing this yourself, that would be you. If you have members on your team, you can delegate that out to different members of your team, saying, hey, this is what we're focusing on. I want you to track this. Here's where our goal is. And we want to make sure that we're making progress. Okay. So then you have a section for dates. Now, in this example on screen, I simply have 4 dates, and that could be like a weekly check-in for a month, approximately. For the 90-day action plans, I typically have 13 columns here so that I'm checking each week over a 13-week period. That makes it a little bit larger of a scoreboard, but there are some values of being able to see the trends. Are you elevating with your progress? Are you about keeping even? Are you stagnating? Are you going downhill? You can see that in some of the examples. For example, this top metric, it's about stagnant. It's about doing the same thing, the top several metrics. The one down here, you could see, oh, this one's going down. Well, with 3 weeks, or 3 entries, it's not that telling. But when you're looking at a longer list of entries, it can really tell a lot. Are we making progress? Or are we going in the wrong direction? So then next column, we have actual. In the actual column, this is where you're actually at with that goal. You can see your target goal in the column to the right. And you'd want to know, all right, what is the goal that we're trying to shoot for, right? And then where are we at? So what are we trying to shoot for? And then where are we at? And this is helpful because then just by looking at the scoreboard, you can tell you can tell the status. Are you on track? Are you behind schedule a little bit? Are you completely off track? Like you really need to put some work on here because you're not even close to the goal. Or have you completed the goal and maybe need to raise the bar? So there's a lot of different ways you can customize this. And this is not a final scoreboard, but it's an example of how you can create a simple scoreboard tracking key metrics in your business. And the whole important thing here again is this is growth amplifiers. We're not just about tracking things just to track them, right? We want to track them so you know where you're at. And then we say, all right, what are we going to put into action that's going to elevate and increase our results? We know where we're at. We're going to set a goal and we're going to take new actions to achieve new results. And we're going to track the progress to see what's working and what's not. Sometimes you might put an action into place and you're like, hey, this is totally working. I need to do more of this. Other times you might try it and you're like, hey, this really didn't do anything. At least we tried it. Other times you might say, hey, that actually worked against us. But we want to track that so you know. So when you have this data, it'll help you see where you're at. It'll also help you make sure that if you're getting behind or you're really off track, that you can be proactive and start taking new actions and changing things before it becomes a bigger issue. So if you have a tool or process that works good for you when creating a scoreboard, I'd love to see what it is. Put it in the comments. And as always, if you could like and share this, that would be greatly appreciated. We are putting this out there to help people that have an inspired mission amplify their business so that they can succeed. We're doing more of these. This is in a series. Definitely be sure to check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you can find us on YouTube, search Growth Amplifiers. And that's just what we're all about. So if you're an amplifier, thank you very much for your support. And we'll see you on the next video.